Good morning. Can you hear me? Yes, great. Our meeting will start at 10 a.m. My name is Alexandra Almestica. Welcome, everybody. I am going to mute myself for now, and we'll keep going later. I'm going to hide myself for a little bit. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. It'll be a few minutes before we get started as we wait for it to get closer to 10 o'clock. Just give us a few minutes.
Hello, can I help you? Good morning. I'm just trying to get information about how to view.
We still have about 5 minutes. Make sure you get your cup of coffee or tea or take a personal break before we get started. We're going to have a great presentation today.
Good morning. Hi.
Yes.
I registered for this back a long time ago, but it's not letting me receive anything. I'm trying to join, but it's not coming up and it won't let me re-register. I don't know what to do.
Okay, you should have received an email, but let me go to people. What is your name?
It should be under Cynthia Scott, SCOTT. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I registered back in June when Amanda sent the email, but it's not letting me do anything. It's not letting me join.
Is it Cynthia 2 Scott? All right, I'm going to send do you have your Teams open? I'm going to send you a request to join and your Microsoft Teams will ring and you can just answer it and then you'll be part of it.
I barely understand her. Okay, thank you. I'll be listening. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to.
That's terrible. That sounds terrible.
No, I'm going to turn off my mic. You can talk. You can hear her.
Okay, I don't know where she's sending it to. She's sending it to Teams. Wow. I don't know where she's sending it.
Maybe in your.
Do you have your Microsoft Teams open? Do you have your Microsoft Teams calendar open?
can help you.
Okay, yes, I have it open. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much. Thank you.
I'm gonna turn.
Here it is. Bye.
The chat is open. You can ask questions through chat and talk through the chat. We still have a couple of minutes and people are still joining.
Because so many mics are open.
Okay. Now you're okay.
Okay, I'll turn it back on.
This you cannot hear. Okay, here, go here. Okay, no, you're fine.
I know. I don't know what to do. I don't.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jana Weiss. I'm the Student Life Coordinator for Online College. And together with the Academic Success Center, we started Recipes for Success. And we are so lucky to have a wonderful guest today from the libraries that will be able to talk to us about navigating AI landscape in the classroom. She's going to go from the
You are
do's to the
echoing.
don'ts. And we
You-
are
you are-
excited.
You're
And if you
echoing.
could please mute your mics during the presentation and use the chat, that would be great. Can everybody hear me? Yes. All right. Perfect. Well, please welcome Alexandra from the libraries, and she
You-
is going to take over.
Jana, you're echoing.
Turn that off.
If there's an echo, it's because two of you are logged in so close together that you're going to have to turn your mics off or something.
All righty. Good morning, everybody. I see we have Aisha, Juan, Rebecca, Esmeralda, Peter, Carlos, Jana, Kathy, Victoria, Melanie, Marisol, Cynthia, Concepcion, Elena. Who else is in the house today? Let me see. Amanda, Oliver, Damiola, Asim, Kimberly, Adelotani, and Jennifer. Welcome, everybody. My name is Alexandra en Mystica Encarnacion. Everybody calls me Alex, and you're welcome to call me Alex too. Today, we're going to be sharing a little bit of information. it's quite a lot, but we'll get there. About how is it that we can navigate this AI thing in the context of the classroom and HCC, following some good practices, okay? So I do need your help today because I'm not going to be here just talking for an hour. So, throughout the presentation, there's going to be moments when I'm, especially probably towards the half, when I'm going to ask for questions from you because I'm going to give examples based on what you are going to tell me. So, with that being said, stay alert. The chat is open. Drop questions in there, and I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. So, thank you again for coming today. Um, and give me just 1 second. Are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, we are, and everybody will need to mute their mics,
Yes,
or I might
very
just turn them
nice.
off.
Thank you. So, our objective for today is to discuss some HCC guidelines about the use of generative AI and also to learn about a variety of tools, okay? So, keep your mind open. There's a lot going on. The landscape for the use of AI and generative AI changes all the time, every day. So first, we need to get an understanding of what is it that we're talking about, right? So there are a lot of definitions of AI out there, but IBM, which is, they have their own product called Watson, really considers the AI field one in which computer science combines robust data sets to enable problem solving. That is their, business definition of it. But we need to ground ourselves in Houston Community College, okay? So at HCC, when we talk about artificial intelligence, what we're really talking about is about technology that automates and does certain tasks. When we talk about generative AI, we mean that we're talking about artificial intelligence that creates text, images, videos, audio, or code based on a prompt. And that word prompt is going to be very important for us, okay? Because in a way, we all need to learn to write prompts. Now, some people don't think that AI is impacting our lives. Some people do, right? But I do want to share with you that there's been an outstanding investment in the venture capitalist field into companies that are pursuing AI initiatives, right? And one of the key characteristics of, the use specifically of generative AI is how it increases productivity. And it happens all across the board in different sectors in education, uh, even for students and faculty. Okay. So at this time, I want to know, how do you use AI? So if you have a phone with you, grab that QR code. And if you do not, I am going to drop in the chat the link. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Grab that QR code. And now I'm dropping it in the chat. Thank you for so much for participating in this brief anonymous survey. It also allows me to get more information and learn from you about your use of AI and things that you want to learn. We're going to take 2 more minutes. And the link is also in chat for you to click.
For those of you just joining, there's a link in the chat to fill out for a survey about how do you use AI.
All right. Thank you so much for participating in the survey. Let me show you what we have so far. So 82% of the attendees today have used AI before. That is great news. So that means we're not starting from just a blank slate. And it's really interesting to see what you want to learn about AI. How can AI help students writing better on their own? Nothing. There are ways to use it. How to identify when a student uses it to write an essay. I'm going to get to that. When did AI become a thing? Ooh, it became a thing a long time ago. But the big explosion of it happened in November of 2022 when ChatGPT went live to the public. Is AI information accurate? We're going to get to there. How I recognize when a student is versus student written text. We'll cover that too. I want to know if AI can do harm or contribute to our future. If so, in what ways? That particular question might take a whole nother session to answer. But I would say that it depends a lot on human behavior, right? Because the AI in itself doesn't do anything without being manipulated by a human. Now, if you go into the science fiction realm and you're thinking, the synchronicity and the moment where AI becomes sentient, that's another story, okay? How does it work? It works sometimes, but it also struggles. That's true. And it hallucinates. We'll talk about that in a little bit. What is acceptable as help for school? And even if it is, excellent question. We're going to cover that too. And how will it affect jobs in the future? How it creates art. In this session, we're going to create a little bit of art together. So thank you so much for your answers. They really, my presentation is in alignment with some of the questions that you have. And please feel free to bring additional questions to the front and drop them in the chat as we go through. Okay. So, the whole thing around the one of the best known AI tools right now is ChatGPT. And one thing that I want you to understand is that when we're talking about generative AI, right? Not AI in general, generative, that was makes something, right? It uses data. In this case, ChatGPT has data, depending on the model that you're using, it has data from a lot of different sources, right? And it's a large language model. So what this thing does is it uses computer technology, right? Algorithms to construct answers, right? That sound human, okay? ChatGPT does not know anything. I have people here in the room. All of you know your knowledge comes from your studies, from your experience, right? From your degrees. ChatGPT doesn't have a human brain working behind the scenes, okay? So sometimes ChatGPT will give you incorrect or nonsensical answers. Other generative AI tools can do the same. These are called hallucinations. So you have to be very careful about what you do with it. Okay. Now, give me a second here. This on the left side of the screen, you have a reference to AI, right? And I prompted it for a question, and now I'm gonna go live on it so that you can see what I'm talking about. So remember, we talk about prompts. And one thing that I want everybody to really take away with you today is that the main authority in the use of AI in our courses at HCC is our faculty. So one of the first things that you need to do is ask your professor, may I use generative AI? And if so, how? Okay. If your professor says no, stay away from it. Don't try to play with the system. Okay. Especially when it comes to producing original content, right? Because we are the unauthorized use of AI and like ChatGPT, Perplexity, or other things, and the use of the content without authorization can be considered as cheating, plagiarism, okay? And we don't want anybody to get in that type of trouble, okay? Um, when you come to HCC and we give you a credential, that what we are saying is that you honestly earn it, that you went through a process of learning, right? So if you start using generative AI and you are not following instructions and you just grab content, you're not really going through the academic experience that is going to take you to the place where you have to be, okay? So keep that in mind, okay? Usually we hear this question a lot, like, how do I know where our students are not using, or you know, what happens? There are specific tools like Turnitin that is already integrating AI and other programs that allow you, like, let's say, to run the text of the student to determine if it follows the patterns of communication, right, that mimic what AI does. But what it boils down to is this: everybody here today has a style. You have a voice, a tone, a syntax, your grammar, and your composition. Okay. So your professors learn that the minute they start interacting with you. So if you know, if your style one day is, let's say, in a certain way, and then tomorrow your sound like you're writing a thesis, there's going to be a discrepancy in there. All righty. So I want y'all to keep that in mind as you are using AI specifically for writing. And I'm going to take a couple of moments here and see, do I have any questions?
Please put all your questions in the chat.
Did that make sense? Give me a yes if it did in the chat, or a no if it didn't. Thank you, Melanie. Okay. Anybody else? Remember your voice. That's very important for us. Thank you, Jennifer. Thanks, Peter. Yes, yes, yes. So remember, number one, ask your instructors, okay? Can I use it? How do you want me to use it? And if they say no, take it from there. Thank you, Concepcion, Adelotani, and Cynthia. Thank you, everybody, for answering. Okay. So, having said that, I do want to make sure that you understand how to use the tool. And one of the powerful things that you can do with, for example, a tool like ChatGPT is learn how to learn. Okay. So for this example, I want you to give me a topic or something that you might want me to do in ChatGPT, let's say. And I'm going to go with the first one that you give me in the chat. Let's see what you got. I'm nervous, but let's see. Who can give me a topic? Write an essay. Aileen, okay, we're going with that one. Aileen, an essay about what?
Artificial intelligence. No, let's say
okay. So
directly.
Aileen said, write an essay, and then Carlos is saying about artificial intelligence. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. What is Descartes' argument for I think, for therefore I am? Okay, so we're gonna do something funky here. I'm gonna go with those three. Okay. Give me just one moment as I switch back. Oh, and one thing that is very important. try as much as you can not to pay for services. Okay. I do have the different versions of ChatGPT, right? But remember, there could be a cost depending on what you use. So be very mindful about that. Don't pay for articles online, you know, don't pay for templates, right? You can go to tutoring, on site and online and ask for assistance. You can come to the library on site and online and ask for assistance. I don't want you to guys to be paying, spending money that way. So that being said, let me switch here. Remember your style and your voice. Use AI properly, right? Talk to your tutors, talk to the librarians, talk to the faculty, and seek assistance. So right now, I am in ChatGPT. I'm logged in, and at the top right here, you see that it says ChatGPT 4.0. Okay. Um, there are different versions. ChatGPT 4 was in use a couple of months ago. And it's a legacy. So the latest version is this one, 4.0, and that one I do pay for it. And then this one is the mini. I'm gonna use the legacy model for now. So the question was how to write an essay, right? So we transform that into a prompt and we instruct the system to do it. So, and even before writing an essay, I'm going to bring this back down a little bit more because you should have an outline. So, for example, you could prompt ChatGPT to generate an outline of, let's say, an argumentative about, Carlos said, artificial intelligence. And then I'm going to throw something that is a little bit different, considering Descartes' views on thinking. I don't know what's going to happen. And I'm going to prompt it a little bit more because I'm going to say, make it, let's say, divide it in 3 sections with 6 paragraphs. So I threw the prompt there, and now the system is generating an outline, right? Notice the thesis statement it created. Argue that while AI exhibits behaviors that might be considered as thinking, it fundamentally diverges from Descartes' concept of consciousness and self-awareness, challenging our traditional views on what it means to think. Because AI does not think. Okay, so you have ideas for an introduction, a body, capabilities of AI, philosophical and ethical implications, and conclusions. How did that look to you? You can unmute and share or say it in the chat.
It is very interesting, by the way. I have used it many times because I like playing with it just to get familiar with it, and everybody talks about it. And the interest point here is that you can ask questions over and over on what it produces for you. Then is I don't like it. I want more detail. Even you can, it is as if you were chatting with a real human being person. Let's say, hey, can you give me more details? And it depends on how I would say detailed your prompt is. And that's
Correct.
very interesting. It helps a lot. Yeah.
Correct. It's a great source of, I will say to get inspiration. Now, I'm going to say something here. I read the card, right? So I have a little bit of knowledge. I read a little bit of artificial intelligence, right? So I have my own knowledge base because of what I've done. But let's say I have no idea about how to fix an engine. Okay, let's say you prompted for instructions about how to do something in an engine. I wouldn't know if that information is correct. Number one. Number two, the outline that you saw did not have any sources. I don't know where that data is coming from. Okay, so you have to have this awareness that although you may be seeing something that looks to be correct, remember, sometimes people say, if you find it on the internet, it must be true. That might not be the case. Okay. Cinnamon is saying, and can tell you it's not what anyone will say in a conversation. I tell students to explain as if you were teaching a friend in order to improve their skills in communication. And that's an excellent point. Cinnamon saw, well, this is not how people communicate normally, right? It's a little bit of a different way of communicating. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, can I go back and tell ChatGPT to write this in kindergarten tone? I can. Okay, or at a different level of lexile. So you can do different things. One thing that sometimes some students that have been allowed to use it, what they do is they compose their own writings. Okay, and then they use generative AI of different kinds to fix syntax and grammar. But that goes back to talk to your instructor and see what you can do with it. Okay. One thing that I want you to know too is that one of the best ways to learn how to use the system is to ask the system how you can use it. So, for example, I'm going to go back here. And I'm going to switch to 4.0 and say, how should I compose a prompt for learning to use Chat GPT? And the system is telling you this is how you're going to use it. Okay. Be clear and direct. You provide context and then you ask follow-up questions. Be open-ended for exploration, refine as necessary. And of course, you don't have sources. Remember that. And we'll get to the sourcing part in a moment. Okay. I want you to, I'm going to have to do something here a little bit different. Give me just 1 second. Sometimes some people are going to tell you, or you're going to hear, that ChatGPT now has an AI search engine. So it's scouting the internet for sources. Okay. So you have to be very careful with that. I'm going to prompt ChatGPT with the following question. Tell me about the history of Houston. Okay. And I'm going to say, generate the content in 3 bullet tones in a funny tone. Include sources. Okay, so the prompt is running. You're going to generate some content. And if you notice, on the left side, it has a search engine. Okay. Now, notice on the first result, founded in a swamp in 1836, the sources are Visit Houston and Wikipedia. I personally know the site for Visit Houston, but notice uh, that there's a link to Wikipedia. And sometimes your professors do not allow you to use Wikipedia. So there's also something here from Mental Floss. I don't know that site, okay? And Visit Houston is a reputable website from an organization here. So these sources are not made up, but they're not the best. Okay. So it's very important when you're doing your assignments to look for your sources. And there are ways of using, Google, library databases, and resources that your professors give you to find resources. Okay. So be very careful about that. Because then if you start citing without knowing, the truth is that you might not be learning the content that is correct, and you're also not getting those research skills that you need for additional classes. At this point, do I have any questions or comments that you might like to share?
Just to make a short remark about the uses of Wikipedia, by the way, as a source, reliable source, be careful with it, because even myself, I've been able to edit it, information from Wikipedia. So doesn't make me, let's say, a trustful person source if I can change edit information for Wikipedia. So just a bit of warning about using it. Maybe for general information for an academic paper, research paper, essay for my courses, I wouldn't recommend it myself.
Right. Thank you for mentioning that, Carlos. And we do insist, it's very important for me that you all get an idea of the weight, right, that a good source has on the product that you deliver. Sometimes what I tell people is that your sources are the foundation of your credibility. Okay. So, for example, I would be afraid of having maybe let's just say my nurse tell me that they got medical advice from generative AI. I don't want to see that. Okay. Because at the end of the day, sometimes we deal with people's lives and we are responsible for what we produce. Okay. So that is really very important. Now, we talked about, right, prompting. You saw some prompts and some things that you could do with it, and there's some other things that you might be able to do with the system, but one that I find really interesting that not a lot of people think about is extracting data from um, images. Okay, so that is something that you can do, and you can prompt to you can attach a file that has words in it. Let's say you took a picture, or there's something that you wrote by hand. This is an image that I made, and I want to extract words from the image, and you can prompt the AI to do something like that. Okay. And that is exactly what it says. It's a phrase in Spanish, and then it translated it into English. So keep that in mind, okay? You can also generate images in here by prompting it, but we're going to do that in another system, okay? So at this time, I'm going to close the ChatGPT, but before I do that, any other questions about it or comments? Okay.
Somebody just posted.
Thank you, Oliver. When I say that AI does not think, what exactly do you mean? I think that is not thinking. When I'm talking about thinking, I am in my mind considering thinking as a brain activity. That would be what I stand. I'm not talking about machine thinking, right? Because we do have that area. Does that make sense, Oliver? Thank you. And I think that's an important, and of course, if we go into ontology and philosophy and that kind of thing, we could have a lengthy conversation on what it is to know. Who knows, right? Does the machine, knows, or the human knows? What is knowing? What do you know? So for me, it's very important that you probably consider yourself, what do I know? when you go into the workforce, what did you learn so that you know that it's not coming from another source? Because it's kind of like, where is your expertise? Where does it come from? Does it come because you can find an answer on a computer that looks real? Or does it come from your experience and the drills and the practices that you have? And of course, with all these tools available and your faculty, your tutors, your advisors, your librarians, you can get a rounded, really good uh, base of what it does it mean for you to know and to learn. So that then when you go onto the market, you know the difference, because you're going to start seeing people that are going to use these technologies. And this goes back to a question in the chat, and maybe perhaps they don't have the knowledge, or they have a certain bias. So you're going to have to be the judge and determine what is real, from the information. What are the sources? Where did this come from? Is it an opinion? Is it data? Is it coming from a report? Is it coming from empirical research? There's a lot of ways of thinking about this, okay? So thank you so much for your comments on chat, and also for asking questions. I want to share something that it's a different product. It's related to AI, but this is more in the line of computational thinking. And tomorrow there is an activity on HCC introducing Wolfram Alpha. So Wolfram Alpha uses computational language to produce answers. And this is a different model. They have their own proprietary database that is formed from information that they have researched. So let me share my screen 1 second here. Okay. We're done with ChatGPT for now. And for the next 2 years until 2025, all HCC faculty members and students are going to have access to Wolfram Alpha Pro. And this tool allows you to perform different calculations in mathematics, science, society, and everyday life. It's very, very powerful. There's also a plugin for Wolfram GPT, which combines the database from Wolfram with the functionality of ChatGPT. Okay, there is a guide for Wolfram Alpha made by one of our librarians, Jennifer Jen Wiggle, and it provides access, for example, to a lot of materials in different areas that are coming from Wolfram. So they have a robust set of materials to back up the product. So remember, if at some you're gonna see this, and if you don't, please, reach out to any librarian to ask about Wolfram Alpha, and also ask your instructors, are you using Wolfram Alpha? Can I use it for my math classes? How can it help me? Okay, so this is something that I want you to be aware of. Now, there are a lot of different products out there, and one thing that I invite you to do is to play with them. Okay, don't just use one and jump from another. So a lot of people in the K-12 environment are using Copilot, and it's very interesting, because one thing that I want to raise awareness about is that if I research a topic, history, of 1776, right? Um, a lot of students and a lot of people are using Copilot, right? And you have to assess where this information is coming from. And what's going to happen is that you're going to see that it's going to give you some sources, okay? And you have to go there. And then we go to what Carlos said. He was talking about Wikipedia as a source, right? And see how this information is coming from Wikipedia. Uh, this point is also coming from the same source. So be very careful what you are getting your sources from, because sometimes your professors This one's coming from history.com. I have some professors that do not want the students to get information from those sources. Okay. So when you use either Copilot or Gemini, you may be seeing that kind of result, right? And I had a student, I'm going to share this with the group, that one day asked me, well, what is the big deal with where I get my sources? They all say the same. And I was like, well, I understand your point, right? It might look to you like all these sources are coming from the same place. But the reality is that there is a structure through which academic information is produced and validated, right? So that we can say that it's truthful. Okay. So that's why the whole Wikipedia point or not coming or not knowing where information is coming from is very important for you. So across the board, doesn't matter which generative AI source you use, you have to know where your sources are coming from. And one thing that I am going to beg for you not to do is to visit tutoring or visit the library and tell us to help you validate sources that are not real. And this has happened in the library. Okay, so we have people dropping like lists of sources in and they say, can you help me find this in the databases, right? And they are not real. We're not going to find them. Amanda, I don't know if I can do Wolfram Alpha 10 times really fast, but I could try. So remember that, okay? Don't struggle to find sources. Come visit us and we'll help you find them. We love, answering questions and making sure that you meet the requirements of the assignment for completion, okay? And I hope this makes a lot of sense. And remember, it's going to look like everything is real. But if you don't verify where that source is coming from, oh, Houston, we have a problem, okay? Cinnamon is saying that citation tracks results coming from science in repeatable tests and lab work and peer-reviewed academic journals. It tracks truth. It's not about the author's ego. That's absolutely true. And one thing is that the way information is distributed, right? It builds upon that academic information that comes from empirical research, right? It's just that we don't see it. Maybe proprietary information, it stays in the background, but that is how true information is distributed. All right, so we talked a little bit about different products, and there is one that I want to mention too that you may want to explore in the future if you want to. Maybe you have a little bit of an entrepreneurial track and maybe you want to create your own bot. Okay, so you can automate and create with Poe a bot that would allow you to do certain procedures, right? I have not played with this. I mostly work with the exploration for the evaluation of information, but they have how to create a bot for prompts, for generating images, for video generations, and this for role playing. So you're seeing a lot of people that are using this to create their own products and even create their own apps. Um, so there's a lot of different ways of using this. So this is something that you may want to explore. So let me close my tabs here because I have way too many. Perplexity is another product that is a generative AI that you can try. Thank you for completing this. And Wolfram Alpha, bye-bye. And now I want us to engage in welcome back, Melanie. Yeah, thank you, Cinnamon. Now we're gonna talk a little bit about something artistic, right? So you already heard somewhere about deep fakes, right? And generating video and generating art. And I want you to know that Houston Community College provides everybody access to the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite. And inside the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, there are tools being deployed that integrate artificial intelligence so that you can generate content. And one of them is called Adobe Firefly. All right. So together today, I'm going to follow your lead, and together we're going to generate an image. Okay. So, and it's going to be, it can get a little bit crazy, but it's okay. On the chat box, on the chat, I want you to give me like a theme. What is this image going to be about? What do you want it to have in it? Okay. And it can be anything. And we're going to combine all of that to see what we create together. Okay. That way I can demonstrate the system using what you're giving me. Okay. So let's take a couple of minutes. Image of a baby picking up daffodils. Okay. That's what Anise said. Okay. Time of the day. Give me a time of the day. Nighttime. It's gonna be at nighttime. Any particular colors that you want to see? The daffodils are yellow.
No, thank you. It's walking. Appreciate it.
Give me a color.
Orange.
Orange. Okay, here we go. Let me write this one down. Thank you. All right. So here I am logged in into my adobe.com account with my HCC credentials. Any faculty member already have access to this. Student access works a little bit different, and I'll share the link with you. Now I'm in the Adobe Firefly landing page, and this is the image. If you want to make your own Adobe personal account, that's fine. You can create a free account and try it out, but don't pay. Okay. HCC provides you access. So I'll tell students how to do that. So on the screen, what you're seeing are images generated by Adobe Firefly. Okay. And the prompt has to do with, and I like using the word generate. Generate an image of a baby picking up daffodils at night. Generate an image of a baby picking up of a baby in orange garments picking up daffodils at night. Okay. And now we click generate. On the left side of the screen, you have certain things that you want to you can adjust. Okay. And now the system is generated the image of the it's adorable. Generated the image of the baby at night with an orange jacket picking those daffodils. Okay. I can download all of them, right? And I can adjust the composition. Notice that it can go from photo to art. I'm going to make this my favorites because I keep it as examples of what you contribute to the session. And I'm going to make a little bit of an adjustment here. I'm going to switch this to landscape, okay, on the left side of the screen. And let me see if I can scroll down.
I just have the same question that Oliver is just typed there about copyright. Is there any copyright involved there when we do this with this sort of images, Alexander?
Yeah, absolutely. Copyright. The two things. The image itself has background information that identifies it as generated with AI, right? And I think the copyright belongs to Adobe, right? Um, so a while back there was um a huge controversy because of an artist that won an award with an AI generated image. And he did not have copyright over the image, but he did have copyright over the prompt that he used and the process that he used to generate the art, right? So do keep that in mind. Okay. So you could keep playing around with that image, and there's other software like Mid Journey that integrates with Discord for image generation, and there's other things out there too for animation that you can do. um so right now the landscape in terms of creation, it's pretty wide. There's even AI for creating music, and you're gonna keep seeing this grow and grow and grow, right? So at the core, this question about copyright goes down also to ethics. How are you gonna use this in the correct way? Okay. Early in the beginning, you heard me talking about ask your professors what they want you to do. Many professors will tell you don't use it. Other professors will tell you it's okay to use it, but you have to cite it. And then if you have to cite it, you have to know the style. Are you citing APA, MLA, Chicago, or National Library of Medicine? Because I have professors in that area too. Okay. So this is a field that keeps growing and it changes. I will say every week there's something new happening. And I do invite you to see, if you are an instructor, how is it that it intersects with your area of expertise? How do you want your students to use it? How do you want how do you want to use it even for personal things? Because when I was talking with Miss Jana at the beginning, I use it for cooking, okay? For travel planning. You can do very interesting things with that, okay? As a student, talked about it with your professors, and also teach it to your family, okay? Distribute the knowledge, because everybody's using it in different places. So use it correctly and use it in a way that is in alignment with your personal goals, right? But in a way that is safe and responsible towards, the work that you do and those around you. Okay. um on the chat, you have upcoming events from online student life, right? Don't forget to visit the tutoring sites online, and also visit the library. um if you have any questions or any additional comments, you're free to post them on the chat. And Jan, I pass it back to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Alexander. That was an amazing information session, almost overload. It was so interesting to hear where this has come from and where it's going. This is all new to me. The first time I really heard about it was at an event that you spoke at. And we did record this. We will be uploading it to our Student Life YouTube page. And I'll be sharing that with Amanda and everybody too, that if y'all want to watch it again. And then I have put, of course, for coming, you get a free t-shirt. So fill out that survey. And then we have that form. And then we have a survey. We really want to know what you think about this event. And if it was helpful and everything, please fill out that survey to let us know. And then, of course, I put the tutoring flyer in. I'm aware that many of y'all are tutors, but we always promote you. And thank you for, just enjoying and coming to this. And there's another one tonight. If you think anybody should hear this, let them know that there's another one at 6 o'clock tonight. And I just want to say thank you for coming, and make sure you fill out. Oh, and somebody talked about, oh, that was you, Alexander, about Firefly.
Yes, I
I
dropped something that is important. The images are in public domain, so they're copyright free.
Okay, nice.
Good,
Thank
thank
you. We're getting lots of new messages. Everybody's saying thank you for this information. It is very helpful for any of us who are working with students, or working on our degrees, or just life in general. And I look forward to seeing all of y'all at another event. And thank you so much. And y'all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Have a good day. Be careful writing the essay.
Get good
Bye.
citations.
That's right.
All right, I'm going to end the meeting. Has everybody been able to click on all the surveys and links in the chat? I don't want to end the meeting until everybody's had a chance.
Okay. Thank you, Jana.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. I'm ending the meeting.